What do you mean? The company is bankrupt because we failed to modernize our business? That's ludicrous. Why didn't anyone fax me? Anyway, do you think this individual heard about artificial intelligence? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm Bill Attardi. Welcome to LearnersLive.com. And this is another e-learning showcase virtual learning session. We've done 3 of these now. And the first one was effective presentation skills. And we did 3 of those. And then last month, we did selling in the executive suite. Learning process was all about selling to executives. I hope you found that selling to an executive is a lot different than selling to a buyer or a purchasing agent. This particular session is going to be on SWOT analysis and generative AI. The plan is to do a learning session every single month this year. Last month, as I said, was effective selling to an executive suite. But before we do this, I want to pause for a commercial. Yes, we have a sponsor, and even Learners Live pauses for commercials. And I'd like to introduce you to Chris Siegel, Vice President at Satco, a terrific lighting company here in Long Island. And let me click on this for Chris.
This is an LED light bulb. They're highly efficient and they do an excellent job of replacing traditional incandescent light bulbs. But the one issue is that these bulbs, in order to meet the efficiency that they require, they are designed with this yellow LED filament strip. And in certain fixtures or certain applications, if the bulbs are visible, especially when they're off, then that yellow LED filament strip could be unsightly, depending on the type of fixture that it's in. So what we've done is we've created a new line of LED light bulbs called Reminiscent. The Reminiscent light bulb is reminiscent of traditional incandescent lamps. These light bulbs are made with a gray LED filament strip. It's a flexible strip that's highly efficient, and not only are they beautiful off, but they do an excellent job lighting the space. Not only are they available in this particular globe lamp, but we also have them in your traditional A-shaped bulbs. And you can see the difference between the filament strips in your traditional A-shaped bulb versus our new reminiscent light bulb. This is a tubular shaped bulb, which is available both in a 7-inch and a 12-inch option, and then your Edison style, which has become very, very popular on the market. And then the chandelier bulb. For more information on reminiscent LED lamps, visit satco.com.
Thank you, Chris. Again, that's satco.com. The subject for this month is SWOT analysis and generative artificial intelligence. I think everybody pretty much knows what SWOT is: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think I've been doing it all my life anyway, and every single marketing class in every school in every country all over the world teaches SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What I've tried to do in this session is to add the power of artificial intelligence. My first comment here is that the use of artificial intelligence, it's not an option. You've got to get not just good at it, you've got to be expert at it. And everyone in your company has to understand the power of artificial intelligence and how it can help you in your marketing activities. Strengths and weaknesses, just a couple of points about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal to your business. That's what you can control. And most companies have no issues with strengths and weaknesses. They know what they are, and they maneuver and work with them because they're in control of those aspects. Opportunities and threats, though, are external to the company. That's what's happening in the marketplace. And you really don't have control over it, or very limited control over those. And that's why it's important to analyze, to start your strategic marketing plan with the SWOT analysis. And what I'm going to do with this session is to recommend that it be an annual event and to hold 3 specific meetings. They could be weeks apart. And I like to recommend that you put the AI information executive in charge of those meetings. Now, if you don't have an artificial intelligence executive, I think you will. Down the road, you're going to have somebody that's in charge of your artificial intelligence activities. If you don't have one, think about putting someone in charge that is very comfortable using AI and has a good understanding, a good footing on what it's all about. Of course, we're going to do a SWOT analysis, and we're going to include AI in the strategic process. First, I like to point out that open source Gen AI options these are just the most familiar, the most popular options that you have. And these are the companies: OpenAI, ChatGPT, Elon Musk's Grok 3, Google's Gemini, Facebook's Llama, Anthropic's Claude, Microsoft's Copilot. Apple is pretty unique, and they call it Apple Intelligence or AI. Those are available. And in fact, in this presentation, I use both Chat and Grok in this to get information on this presentation. As I said earlier, not using AI is not an option. Using it in the working world is absolutely essential for these reasons. First of all, it's a data collection analysis tool, and it has various sources that you can use, and it's essential in running today's business. It gives you a quick analysis of problems, and every business has problems, as you know, and it gives you a very quick analysis of what your problems are that leads to problem solving. And AI helps you with the problem solving aspects. And it frees you then, you personally, and you and your company, to make the necessary good decisions to run your business effectively. Think about it as your personal assistant. Powerful search engine. It's the most powerful search engine ever created. And as you know, knowledge is power. It's a tool. Get information. And the more information you have, the more critical thinking you can use. And human editing becomes then an essential part of effectively using artificial intelligence. And get AI certified. I believe that almost everybody in your organization, especially in the marketing departments, have to be AI certified. And there's a lot of different companies that are offering certification. Check it out. Go to AI and ask the ones that are closest to you, or the ones that are offering virtual AI certification, an important part of your business going forward. Again, a SWOT analysis, I think, leads to the strategic planning process. You start with the SWOT analysis, and then you do the situation analysis. What's going on today in the business, in your business? What's your vision? Where do you think it's going? And then, of course, setting the strategic direction so that everyone in your organization knows what needs to be accomplished going forward in your business. The SWOT analysis. First, again, I'm going to go very quickly through what I teach at Monmouth University, just to give the students and this virtual training session a good understanding of what SWOT is all about. Strengths and weaknesses are clearly internal, that which you can control. Opportunities and threats, however, are external. That's what's happening in the marketplace. Strengths. Let's deal with strengths. And this is a good point to ask the people that are going to be in the meetings that we're going to talk about later as to what they need to do in order to identify the strengths of your company. First and foremost, I like to call it a sustainable competitive advantage, a sustainable competitive advantage. Those are internal strengths that are not easily duplicated by your competitors. I hope you have a few of those. Those are very powerful strengths. And if your competitors can't duplicate them, you're in a very strong position in the marketplace. But you should also look at, what are your core competencies? What do you do well? What business advantages do you have? What's the reputation that your customer sees of you in the marketplace? And always, down in final comment is, where do you make the most money? Where you make the most money really identifies your biggest strength. I also, as I said earlier, I went to ChatGPT and to Grok and asked them what the strengths of AI are. And here's what they said: efficiency and productivity, problem solving, a big strength when you go to Gen AI. Task specific. They can target specific problem areas that your company has and define them very clearly for you. Scalability, vast amounts of data and content generation, creativity and innovation. And a big area is personalization. Whatever you ask for, you're going to get back on a personal basis. One strength of Gen AI is large data processing power, big data, access to big data. And that, to me, is one of the biggest strengths of artificial intelligence. Let's go to weaknesses. Internal weaknesses you should try to eliminate them, obviously, but sometimes you can't. So the very least you should do is to minimize them so they don't affect your business in a negative way. So first thing is, what do you do poorly? And that should be customer centric. Ask your customers what you do poorly or what you do well. That's an important element, because if your customers don't think you're doing things well, you should know that. What needs improvement? Where do you lack resources? What areas are you avoiding? And as in a strength, where are you making the most money? Where are you losing money? That'll give you a good indication of a weakness. The weaknesses for artificial intelligence, this is what they say. They say accuracy, and they use a term called hallucinations, which is incorrect information. They're working hard at improving that, but it's a weakness. Lack of real-time knowledge, it may not be up to date. Interpredictability, I have to say that a couple of times. Sometimes the information you get is difficult to interpret and to understand. Ethical and bias concerns, high resource costs. I think you're aware that the data centers that this is producing is causing some real concerns about providing electricity and utilities, and even the tech companies are looking to produce power stations to help with that. And it's a very expensive thing. Dependence on quality data. It's the whole thing about garbage in, garbage out. If the quality of the data is not good, it's the output is flawed. Let's talk about opportunities. Opportunities are, again, external market forces that you should be able to exploit, that you should be able to take advantage of. Favorable outside forces for advancement and progress. Here are the opportunities that you should ask your people to define. What are the current and future needs of your customers? Always start with your customers. Industry trends in the future, the best practices, the success of competitors. What are your competitors successful in? What are you missing that you should be competitive in? What is a sustainable competitive advantage that you're missing? What new technology should you consider? What specific opportunities should you invest in? Those are the opportunities that should be discussed. Opportunities with Gen AI is business and industry transformation. Everyone is in on artificial intelligence. Every business, every industry is going into it in a big way. Enhance creativity and content generation. Enhance collaboration. Personalization. AI is driven by chat boxes that you have to be very familiar with. Education and learning. As I said earlier, AI certification is almost a necessity. Scientific and research applications, accessibility. Here's a real chance for the small companies, the small players, to compete with the large players, with the big companies, because you have now accessibility to information that now you can afford, and you have that even the large players also have. And you got to know that this is the beginning. There's going to be continuous improvement in artificial intelligence. It's going to get better. Everybody is going to be smarter. Here's the threats. Threats are external forces outside your control. I like to use this slide because there are sharks all over the world. There are threats everywhere you look, and you have to confront it. You have to deal with those particular threats. You can't avoid it. Threats, businesses, sharks in the business world are called threats. And when you think about the threats that you have in your business, the number one threat is an aggressive and successful competitor. And I'd like this to be a question, two questions that I think are necessary when it comes to analyzing your threats. Ask your people, what are your competitors doing to you to beat you in the marketplace? And then the second question is, what are you doing to your competitors to beat them? Those, I think, are two significant questions that you need answers to. You also need answers to, what are the economic conditions that threaten your business? What is government doing to threaten your business? What obstacles do you see in the marketplace, not only now, but in the future? What changes in the business climate are going to affect you now and in the future? And lastly, what market conditions expose your vulnerabilities? Those are the threats. And artificial intelligence says the threats to their business is misinformation and manipulation, getting fake news. Job displacement, we hear that all the time about AI displacing certain jobs. Still not clear. Got to look at that and watch that on a regular basis, but not clear as to what kind of job displacement is going to take place. Privacy and security risks. Yes, you can lose when you're feeding sensitive information into artificial intelligence, you could be losing into intellectual property. You got to be careful. You have to decide what are the privacy and security risks to your business. Regulatory and legal uncertainty. We got federal and state laws pending dealing with artificial intelligence that you have to watch. And the one thing that they say is over-reliance on artificial intelligence. Don't want to reduce your critical thinking. The human side of running a business is still critical, still important. AI should not take the place of that. Just to define, this is something we teach in the marketing class, and say that these are the forces that are not in your control. It's called PESTLE, the PESTLE factors, okay? And let me cover those quickly. Political, economic, social, cultural, technological, ecological, and legal. All of those are factors that are not in your control. They happen in the marketplace, in every capitalistic environment, okay? They offer either opportunities or threats. You have to decide where they fall in your business. But it's something that you have to be clear on and react to, because these are areas that will affect your business short-term and long-term. Remember that AI is in a position to allow you to better understand these forces, because they're not in your control, and you need AI to help you understand and interpret those particular areas. Okay, artificial intelligence, challenges and opportunities. I said to you, there's 3 meetings very quickly. I'm recommending that you conduct 3 distinct specific meetings. The first meeting should deal with internal strengths and weaknesses. Assign a leader. As I said, I suggest if you have an executive that is responsible for artificial intelligence information, he should be in charge. And if you don't have one, find someone that really does have a good grasp of what artificial is all about, and in particular, its usage. And then decide who you want to participate in this meeting. It could be the top executives in your company. It could be the most important people that are putting together the strategic marketing plan. 5, 6, 7, 10 people, you decide who you want to participate. Here's the assignment to those particular individuals. Ask them to come up with what I call original thought. Start off with original thought. Don't go into AI right away. Come up with original thought. Have them come up with 5 of the most significant strengths and weaknesses. That's what this meeting is about. Strengths and weaknesses. Once they come up with the top 5 in their mind, strengths and weaknesses, ask them to feed it into one of the Gen AI platforms. Prompt AI to either agree or disagree, but then ask AI what they see as the top 5 strengths and weaknesses of your company. And here's an eye-opener. Believe it or not, AI knows more about your strengths and weaknesses than you do. You're going to be very surprised when they enter their input into AI, and AI comes back with what they consider to be your strengths and weaknesses. That database is so various and so extreme that they will know your strengths and weaknesses better than you. Each contributor then settles on the 5. They submit those to the leader, to the one in charge of this meeting. The leader then feeds it all into AI. That's why he has to be really good at understanding how AI works. And then he will prompt them to consolidate. If you got 6 people and you got 5 significant strengths and weaknesses, that means you got 30 of them. He has to feed all of them into AI, consolidate them, and finalize on the top 5. That's a process that AI is very effective in doing. The second meeting then is on opportunities and threats. Now that the leader has the 5 strengths and weaknesses, he should hand it out to everybody in the meeting, get agreement, review it, go over it, change it, modify it, do whatever you want. Make sure you're in agreement with the 5 strengths and weaknesses. Once you do that, then it's the same drill for opportunities and threats. Original thought, come up with the 5 significant opportunities and threats, feed it into AI, come up with the top 5, and then remember, AI really knows more about what's happening in the marketplace, certainly more than you do. So that's why AI is such a powerful platform. Then, same drill. Submit those to the leader. The leader then feeds it into AI, consolidates it all, and finalizes on the top 5 opportunities and threats. Now you have SWOT. The leader now has a consolidated SWOT of the top 5 of your company, distributes it to all the contributors. And now this particular meeting is an open discussion about the SWOT analysis and the top 5. I say the top 5. It could be the top 10 if you want. That's up to you. I like to zero in on something that's tangible, that's something you can agree on quickly, and as a good basis for your strategic plan. Then it becomes part of your strategic marketing plan. And as we discussed, this is the elements. The only thing missing here is the financial piece, but everything else is here. And it should be a working plan. It should be something that you can modify and update on a regular basis. And AI is a very good platform to help you on a regular basis to continue to monitor your specific strategic marketing plan. So that's it. That's what I think the most effective SWOT analysis using AI. And before I close, are there any questions? This is something I use in all my presentations because I don't want to close on someone else's question, especially a question I can't answer. Anyway, I want you to ask me any questions that you want, anytime. That's my email address. And if you want clarification on anything I spoke about, just let me know and send me an email and I'll be glad to answer your questions, okay? In fact, if you see value in this particular presentation, this may not be a bad presentation to give to your before the meeting starts, to the people that are participating, so they understand exactly what you're trying to do. The last 3 slides are very quick. I just want, and it's there for your reading pleasure more than anything. What I'm basically trying to emphasize is why you should use AI. And these are the 5 reasons that I got out of AI: is efficiency and automation, data processing, scalability, accuracy, and it's available 24 hours, 24/7, all the time, anytime you need it. And it'll improve your SWOT analysis. It will help you identify your strengths more clearly. It'll detect the weaknesses that you need to work on. It'll spot any opportunities that you have that you may be missing. And it'll certainly recognize the threats that could hamper your business. Again, I went through these quickly, and I identified what I consider to be those areas that can improve your SWOT analysis. You can pause this particular presentation will be posted on e-learning showcase, and it's available to you at any time. You can pause it, you can copy it, you can distribute it, do whatever you want with it. I hope that it's of a value. And don't forget that this particular website is there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to help with the learning process, something that I hope you can learn on an ongoing basis. And this is the way it's broken down, and it's a website that you can go to at any time. And don't forget my friend Chris Siegel and the products that Satco offers. Go to satco.com and you'll find that it's an excellent lighting company right here in Long Island, New York. Thanks for listening. God bless. Be safe, and I'll see you next month.